Hello friends, you welcome to my complete Java course. This video lecture is the continuation of my previous exception handling videos lecture. This is a part 2. So now we are going to continue of the previous lecture. So let's start today video lecture. Now we will talk about the methods present in exceptions. Methods present in the exceptions class helps the user to get different detail of the exception. Below are a few useful methods present in the exception class. Number 1, get message. Get message or toString returns the detailed message string, most of the time a reason why the exception occurred. So get message method return the why, what is the reason or why the exception occurred. Number 2, get localized message. Return the localized message according to the language. This is the local version of the get message, creates a localized description of this execution. Number 3, get cause. Return the cause of the exception or null if the cause is known, exist or unknown. Number 5, print stack trace. This method is similar to get stack trace. The only difference is this method print the details rather than fetching the details. So print stack trace method print the detail about the exception. Means on which class exception occur, on which method the exception occur, or on which line of the method is exception occur. Now we will talk about the try, catch and finally block in exception handling. First we talk about the try block. Try block is nothing but a block which contains a certain code and that certain code may or may not behave abnormally. Means if there is a chance for occurring any exception, that code we write in the try block. When the code behaves abnormally, the program throws an exception, but when it behaves normally, it will not throw any exception. In layman terms, try block is nothing but a room in hospital which is little sensitive and we are having patient inside the particular room. When something unexpected happens in that room, the hospital will be ready to handle the situation. When an exception occurs in try block, the code after the exception in the try block will not be executed. Suppose there is a try block, this is the syntax of the try block, and there are the 100 lines of the code. And at the line of the 50, there's some exception occur. So the program will terminate or the control goes to the catch block and the rest of the statement will not be executed in the try block. Number 2, we talk about the catch block. The catch block is nothing but a block of code. So whenever something abnormal happens in the try block, the associated catch block will be executed. The catch block will be having code which will efficiently handle that particular exceptional situation. Means if there is any exception occur, which kind of the exception occur in the try block, we write the catch block to handle that exception. So in the catch block we write the handling code. In catch block, user should mention what is the exception that we should handle, because we cannot handle all the exceptions as different exceptions will require a different code to handle the situation. Means in a single catch block we can handle only the single exception. So if there is a chance of occurring multiple exception in your try block, so you need to write a multiple catch blocks. Catch block will not be executed if there is no exception occurs in the try block. And this is the syntax for the catch block, try block, and after the try block, immediate you need to write a catch block and pass the exception. Which kind of the exception will occur in the try block, corresponding catch block will be executed. So here if you define a SQL exception, and if the SQL exception is occurred in the try block, so this catch block will be executed. Number the finally block. The finally block follows a try block or a catch block. A finally block of code always executes irrespective of occurrence of an exception. Means if exception occur in the try block or not, or exception occur in the try block or not, finally block will be executed always. Using a final block always, you to run any cleanup type uh, statement that you want to execute, no matter what happens in the protected mode code. A final block appears at the end of the catch block and has the following syntax: try block, after the catch block, and after the catch block is the finally block. Means if there is any error is occur in the try block or not, finally block will be executed. So why we create a finally block? Because suppose you create a connection in the try block for connecting with the database, and some error is occurred in the try block, so the connection cannot be closed because the further statement will not be executed. So in the finally block we write the logic for closing the resource which we have open in the try block. So if there is any error or exception will occur, also then you can close the connection that you have open in the try block. So here is the example, like we create a class test. In that test class we create a main method, we define a variable integer I, and in the try block first we are printing the enter in the try block, and we are dividing this I with the 5, and we write the exception catch block and finally block. But in this case there will not be chance for uh, exception occurring, because when you will divide 10 by 5 you will get the output 2, and the final block will be executed. So the first the enter in try block, then it will divide 10 by 5, so it will print the 2, and at the end final block will be executed. So let's I show you on the Eclipse IDE. So here I have pasted the code, and if we try to run it we will get output 2, and finally block will be executed. But what happened if we divide this I with 0, then if you divide any number with the 0, there will be exception will occur. So try block will throw the exception, so exception will handle by the catch block, and catch block print the statement enter in the catch block, and it will e.print stack trace method will print the information where the exception occur, and at the end of the final block will be executed. So if you run this program, so let's see. First enter in the try block, enter in the try block. Here the exception occur, so it comes in the catch block. So enter in the catch block, and at the end of the finally block will be executed. And what is the exception? Divide by 0. So it is saying divide by 0, where in the test class at test class main methods. Means it exception occur in the main method of the test class. So in the next example I have already give the practical example. If you divide I by 0, means if you divide the 10 by the 0, you will get the arithmetic exception, and you will get the output Okay. Now, when finally block will not be execute, because finally block always execute, but there are some situation where finally block will not be executed. What they are? Number one, if you use system.exit method, system is a class and exit is the method of the system class. If you write the system.exit code occurs in the try or catch block. If you write this code in the try block or catch block, then finally block will not be executed. Number two, when JVM crash. If JVM crash also, then the final block will not be executed. Number three, when try block is executed infinitely without breaking. Number four, when user stop the execution just for fun. If your execution is going on and if you uh, stop the execution, then also finally block will not be executed. So here is the example. We define a variable in the test class, and in the try block we are printing the we are dividing the I value with 5, and we write the system.exit method and we pass the 0. 0 means normal termination, and we define the finally block. So if you run this program, try block will be executed, but when the control will come here system.exit, it will exit from the JVM, so final block will not be executed. So you will get the output this. In this time, finally block will not be executed. Let's I show you. If I write here system dot exit 0. If you run this program, you will notice that now enter in try block and print 2, because 10 divided 5 is 2, and in this case the finally block will not be executed. Now we will talk about the basic rules of try catch or finally block. Number one, the code present in try block may or may not raise the exception. Number two, try block or catch block or finally block cannot exist alone. Means if you write a try block, compulsory you should write either a catch block or finally block. But you cannot separately define. Only if you think that you define a try block and just leave it. So no, not possible. Number three, catch or finally or both should follow try block. Means try block after that the catch block, or try block after the finally block. You cannot define a catch block before the try block, or you cannot define the finally block before the catch block. You should define the catch block and finally block after the try block. Number 4, catch block is optional when finally block is present. Number 5, finally block is optional when catch block is present. We cannot have catch or finally block without a try statement. Number 7, we cannot write any code between try catch or finally block. What is the meaning of this? Suppose if you define a try, catch and finally. So in here after the try block you cannot write any statement. If you try to print anything or write to any statement, it will throw the error. In the same way, you cannot write any statement after the catch block. Compulsory you write just immediate finally block. If you want to write the finally block, you will have to write just immediate after the catch block, and if you are writing a catch block, you will have to write the catch block just immediate the try block. Number 8, try catch blocks can be nested. Try inside another try or catch or finally. Means within the try block you can write a try, catch and finally block. So they are nested. Within a catch block also you can write the try, catch and finally block. Number 9. We can have only one finally block with a try block.